Princess Leonor's royal look that broke protocol dress. The royal hall was perfect. Polished floors, glittering chandeliers, everyone in their finest attire. Then she appeared. Princess Leonor's outfit turned every expectation upside down. What she wore broke centuries of tradition, and yet, somehow, it felt entirely her own. The morning at the palace had all the hallmarks of a meticulously planned day. The staff moved with precise choreography, preparing the ceremonial rooms for the arrival of distinguished guests. Courtiers whispered about the usual protocol, what was expected, what should be avoided, and the rigid rules that had governed the royal wardrobe for generations. In these walls, appearances were more than fashion, they were statements of power, tradition, and duty. Into this world of careful expectation stepped Princess Leonor. From the first moment she entered the room, it was clear that something had changed. Her posture was regal, yet there was a quiet defiance in the way she held herself. Eyes followed her across the polished floors, noting the subtle choices that marked her as both a princess and an individual unwilling to be confined by the invisible lines of tradition. Her outfit was unlike anything the palace had seen in decades. The color, a striking combination that caught the light in ways designed to command attention without screaming for it, defied standard royal codes. The cut and silhouette were carefully tailored, balancing elegance with modernity, yet they hinted at a daring personality beneath the poised exterior. There was a tension between expectation and innovation, between obedience and self-expression, that radiated from every stitch. Guests murmured softly, some in admiration, others in shock. For centuries, royal appearances had followed a near-identical formula: conservative choices, predictable accessories, and a subtle nod to tradition. Leonor's look shattered that formula, not recklessly, but with deliberate intention. She had studied history, learned the nuances of etiquette, and yet chose to bend the rules in a way that made everyone take notice. Why did she take this risk? Insiders suggest months of preparation. Late nights spent consulting designers, testing fabrics, and imagining how each element would be perceived. But the deeper motivation was not fashion, it was identity. Leonor wanted to show that royalty could evolve, that tradition and individuality could coexist. Every choice in her ensemble was a message: I am who I am, and I respect the past while shaping the future. The reactions were immediate. Courtiers whispered in quiet clusters, comparing notes and speculating about the intent behind the choices. Some were visibly impressed, noting the subtle nods to classic royal attire woven into a contemporary design. Others appeared unsettled, confronted with the unfamiliar sight of a princess asserting her personal taste so boldly in a setting defined by strict conventions. Even Queen Letizia, known for her composure and attention to detail, allowed a fleeting expression of pride to show, a silent acknowledgement of courage and vision. But the visual impact was only part of the story. Leonor's confidence transformed the entire room. Her walk, the measured gestures of her hands, the serene way she acknowledged each guest, all contributed to a sense of command without arrogance. She reminded everyone that royalty is not just about titles and ceremonies, but also about presence, influence, and the ability to inspire without words. Later, in private chambers, the deeper significance of her choice became apparent. Conversations revealed the delicate balancing act of family expectations. Leonor's younger sibling admired the courage, the way she blended respect for tradition with her own vision. Discussions with advisors and palace staff highlighted the careful diplomacy required to introduce innovation into an institution bound by protocol. Every decision had consequences, yet Leonor navigated them with grace, proving that boldness could coexist with tact. Even the smallest details carried meaning. The way her accessories complemented her outfit, the subtle shifts in color reflecting both heritage and individuality, the choice of fabric signaling sustainability and modern sensibility, all these elements contributed to a narrative beyond mere appearance. It was a story about identity, courage, and vision, told through cloth, cut, and presence. As the day unfolded, the ripple effect of her look became apparent. Guests began to engage differently, curious about the statement being made. Conversations shifted from idle chatter to meaningful dialogue about evolution, progress, and personal expression within a traditional framework. Historians of the monarchy would later describe the ensemble as a turning point, a subtle yet undeniable moment where the palace acknowledged that the future could coexist with the past. Yet, it was the emotional resonance that made the day unforgettable. Observers noted the mixture of admiration, surprise, and quiet reflection. Leonor's look was not just a fashion statement, it was a bridge between generations, a reminder that authenticity carries its own authority. Her choice inspired others to reconsider how tradition could accommodate individuality, and how courage manifests not in grand gestures alone, but in the confidence to redefine expectations with elegance and respect. By evening, the palace had settled into calm, but the impact lingered. Private notes were written, reflections shared among family and staff, and subtle shifts in perception began to take root. Leonor had broken protocol, yes, but she had done so with intention, intelligence, and heart. She had shown that royalty could evolve without losing its essence, and that a single decision, an outfit, a choice, a presence, could ripple outward to challenge and inspire alike. In the quiet of her chambers, Leonor reflected on the day. She had taken a risk, balanced courage with responsibility, and in doing so, had reshaped the narrative of what it means to be a princess. The palace walls, steeped in centuries of expectation, had witnessed a moment that would be remembered, not for scandal, but for vision, elegance, and the power of authenticity. As the night deepened, one truth remained clear: Princess Leonor's royal look had done more than break protocol. It had captivated hearts, sparked conversation, and quietly redefined the future of the monarchy. It was a reminder that true influence comes not from obedience alone, but from courage, creativity, and the courage to be unapologetically oneself.